Just want to say that you have recorded a video where you go really deep on this, on the upcoming crash that you say is going to be fast, bloody, and unavoidable. But you also explain how people can position themselves to profit from it. Again, people can watch that video at londonreal.tv/Jim. I highly recommend everyone watch that video. It won't be available on socials.
It's amazing how Washington works. Mary Daly, I mentioned her, she's president of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. She was on the short list to be nominated to the Board of Governors in Washington to fill the seat that Lael Brainerd left. Lael Brainerd was a member of the Board of Governors. I believe she was vice chairman, but she left to go to the White House in the National Economic Council. She really is smart. She's a big brain. She knows what she's talking about. Very few of them do, but she's one of them. But she goes to the White House, but that's an audition for Secretary of the Treasury because they're going to throw Yellen under the bus. Yellen knows nothing. If Yellen were on this call right now, she wouldn't know anything we're talking about.
How is that possible, Jim?
Affirmative action. When she was chairman of the Fed, I said she was incompetent, and I was right. And then she became Secretary of the Treasury. She's a statistics geek from Berkeley. She's got a big brain. I'll give her credit on IQ points. So what? That's not the same as common sense or working knowledge or knowing how the street works. She's never worked, outside of government in her entire life. I don't care what your resume is. If you've never run a business, met a payroll, negotiated a purchase sale agreement, kept your morale up with negative cash flow. If you've never done any of those things, you don't know what it's like to be in the real world of the economy. She doesn't, but her specialty as an economist was labor economics. Okay, well, there's a place for that, but not as U.S. Treasury Secretary. You have to know she didn't know monetary policy of the Fed. She doesn't know fiscal policy of the Treasury. Knows nothing about international economics, and that gets us into the role of the dollar. She was like her husband won a Nobel Prize. Okay, George Akerlof. I know a lot of her close associates. If you don't want to say affirmative action, you can say the Peter Principle. Which, this goes back to the 60s, but the Peter Principle is you get in a bureaucracy and you do a good job and they give you a promotion. And then you keep doing a good job and they give you another promotion. And you keep doing a good job. And eventually you get promoted to something where you're incompetent. You're in over your head and you fail, but then you stay there because you're not getting another promotion. And so the result is bureaucracies are populated with incompetent people because they've all risen to their level of incompetence and have nowhere else to go. I would say she got there at the Fed, how she got another chance at Treasury, but that's the answer. But Lael Brainerd, I'll say, is more talented, and hopefully she'll be. So they'll throw Yellen under the bus, blame her. That's, by the way, that's the Biden technique: deflection and denial, and just blaming other people. So they'll blame her for the whole thing. She probably doesn't see that coming, by the way. Maybe she should tune into London Real, and then they'll put Lael Brainerd over there. But Mary Daly was on the short list to fill Brainerd's seat at the Fed. Well, you can forget that she can't get the hearing at this point. But she was running around on, climate change, social justice, George Floyd, BLM. And again, free country. You want to express a view, be my guest, but not as chief regulator of Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah. It's so should they have let it fail? And what would have been the carnage, Jim, if they had?
Well, again, it's hindsight. You shouldn't have been allowed to get to that place anyway. But there might have been more. This is where there's a lack of creativity. It's kind of all or nothing. It's like, if this fails, we're going to have a wave of failures of startups in Silicon Valley. Well, that's probably true. But most of them fail anyway. If you know the venture capital business, and I'm sure you do, most of these things fail anyway. A couple of winners here and there. Well, how difficult would it have been? So now you're the entrepreneur. You had $5 million of working capital, which you got in a round, an angel round or whatever from some venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. You got some premises, you got a payroll, you got some developers, you got employees, all that stuff. And now your cash is frozen. Not just frozen, but gone. You got to go Yang money, you got a due bill from the FDIC. Now who's to say if those companies were well run and they actually had some good technology, how difficult would it have been to make a few phone calls and say, you know what, we're stuck in this thing. I need a 2-year bridge loan, or I need a 1-year bridge loan. And I'll collateralize it by the proceeds of my receivership certificate. And as and when I get paid, I'll pay down the loan. We can have a simultaneous closing, all good. You could have got money. Some of those firms could have got money, some of them not. Maybe some layoffs. Maybe they would have failed, but most of them do anyway. I mean, that's my first point. But that was not the majority of, and unemployment would have gone up. I mean, I'm not saying that there are no hardships, Brian, but we gloss over the greater hardships on the economy as a whole, and that gets to the other lie, which was Janet Yellen coming out and saying there's no cost to the taxpayer. Like, wait a second, because you mentioned the bailout of the Fed taking the loans below market value and giving them, at market value and giving them par value, which is more for 1 year, and glossed over that whole thing. But there was a separate bailout, which is the FDIC guaranteed every penny of every deposit in all those banks. Well, when you look at the numbers, you have grossly depleted the insurance fund. The FDIC is an insurance company. That's what the I stands for. And they have reserves, just like every other insurance company. They charge premiums. That's how they go. This would have basically wiped out the reserves. So how are you going to top up the reserves in the FDIC for future bank failures? Well, they said, we're going to raise premiums on the banks. Okay, they are. But what do the banks do? Well, they're going to either pay you less interest or charge you fees. In other words, the bank isn't just going to sit there and write checks to the FDIC and watch their P&L evaporate. They're going to pass the cost on to the customer, which is us, which is the American people. So does your tax bill go up? No, but your interest rate's gone down, or your banking fees are going up. So the cost is shifted to everyday Americans. So don't tell me that we're not paying the bill, because we are. So again, these are in the nature of government lies to kind of disguise what they're actually doing.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
This course has been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.